On the outskirts of a bustling city, there's a dilapidated mansion known as the Windsor House. No one lives there, but the house is notorious for being haunted. Neighbors report seeing flickering lights through the windows and hearing faint music drifting from inside at night. Most unsettling are the stories of the portraits, dozens of them, hidden in the attic, depicting faces no one recognizes. These portraits are said to move, their expressions changing as if the people in the paintings are still alive, trapped within the frames. Nisha, a budding artist, is fascinated by the idea of haunted paintings. She recently moved to the city for inspiration and heard about Windsor House from a local gallery owner. Determined to see the portraits for herself, Nisha convinces the caretaker to let her explore the house under the condition that she doesn't stay past sundown. Legend has it that Windsor House was once owned by a reclusive artist named Eleanor Windsor. She painted obsessively, creating portraits of everyone who visited her, but over time, her work grew darker. It's said that Eleanor's final masterpiece was a series of paintings depicting people who were never seen again, as if she captured their very souls on canvas. After her mysterious death, the house was abandoned, and no one dared to touch her final works. Nisha entered the mansion in the afternoon, immediately struck by the grandeur of the decaying rooms. Dust clung to everything, but the remnants of the house's former beauty were still evident. As she made her way to the attic, the air grew colder. The attic was vast, filled with dusty furniture and old trunks. But the most striking feature was the wall of portraits. Dozens of them, arranged in perfect rows, all staring directly at her. The faces in the paintings were lifelike, but their expressions were wrong. They looked terrified. As Nisha examined the portraits, one caught her eye, a painting of a young woman who looked eerily familiar. Nisha stepped closer and realized with a jolt that the woman in the painting looked just like her. The eyes, the nose, the hair. It was her face, but slightly distorted, as if painted in fear. Suddenly, she felt a presence behind her. Spinning around, she saw no one. But when she turned back to the portrait, the expression had changed. The woman in the painting was now staring directly at Nisha, her mouth open as if screaming. Frightened, Nisha tried to leave the attic, but the door wouldn't budge. The light dimmed, and from the shadows, she heard a voice, soft, almost a whisper. "You shouldn't have come here." The paintings seemed to move in the corner of her eye, their eyes following her every step. The temperature dropped further, and Nisha felt as though the house itself was watching her. Suddenly, the portrait of Eleanor Windsor, the artist, came into focus. Her cold eyes seemed to burn into Nisha's soul, and the voice whispered again, "Now you're one of us." Nisha managed to break free from the attic, her heart pounding as she fled the house. But the image of her own face, frozen in terror within the portrait, haunted her. Days later, when Nisha reviewed the sketches she had made in the house, she realized something horrifying. Every portrait she had drawn now bore her likeness. No matter what she tried to paint, her face appeared on the canvas, the same terrified expression staring back at her. Nisha left the city, abandoning her art career. But wherever she went, she couldn't escape the feeling that the people in the paintings were still watching her, waiting for her to return to Windsor House.